Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. Let's throw up the field for the feature race at Arlington Park on Saturday. The Grade 3 Arlington Matron. We are going 1 1/8 miles on the poly track. $100,000 is the purse. And the big news right now, Matt, is that the morning line favorite, the number 3 La Force, will stay put in Southern California to face Paradise Woods in the Santa Maria. That might make this a better betting race, although I have to be honest with you, I was kind of looking forward to betting against La Force.
No, I'm with you. I mean, you look at LaForce, and I don't mean this as a major slight, but boy, 12 times second or third from 24 lifetime starts with only 2 wins. You'd be trying synthetic for the first time. I thought the Santa Margarita was an okay effort from her. Would have been interesting and a nice opportunity to take a shot against her at a short price, but it is what it is. And I suppose now Daddy's Boo inherits favoritism. This race probably a little bit more wide open now that LaForce is out, but I still think you have opportunities to take shots against the likely favorite now.
Daddy's Boo, the number 8, probably the favorite, as you mentioned, probably deserves to be. 16 for 33 lifetime, 24 times in the exacta, and she won her seasonal debut at the ripe old age of 8. Like, Father Time is not wearing down on her at all. She did have the lead in this race last year, and she blew a clear late lead to finish second. She has won at 9 furlongs on the turf, but that was 5 years ago. Are you worried about the 9 furlongs, especially if there's some other pace up front?
I don't know that she's incapable of getting it, but boy, if you're backing her at a short price, you're going to be hollering for the wire as they turn for home because, like you said, that Matron, she had a 2-length lead just inside, right around the 8th pole, and unfortunately, she got run down. So I think it is one of those instances, especially as you laid out, there's a chance that somebody else goes out there and keeps her honest early on. If that's the case, I think it saps some of that energy, and that could be a problem.
Timeform US believes it will be the 9 youngest daughter, one of 2 in here for trainer Victoria Oliver, that will provide the pace heat for Daddy's Boo. Red bar situation, Timeform US parlance, that means fast pace. That could pose a problem for Daddy's Boo. Last time out on the turf, youngest daughter, similar situation. Prompted a fast pace. Tired. This is going to be her synthetic debut. Maybe she'll like it. She hasn't won a race in a long time, though, and this looks like a pretty tough situation. Chasing a good horse, even if she does put away Daddy's Boo, here come the closers.
Yeah, there's just so many things going against her in here. First time on a new surface, haven't won in who knows how long. It's a situation where you're going to have to put away the other speed, who's probably better quality than you are, and then hold off everyone else. It doesn't seem like a high probability prospect.
We mentioned Victoria Oliver. She has 2 in here, including the number 2, Snuck Out, who would benefit from a fast pace. Just look, she's last on your Timeform US pace projector. Also, we have a positive formulator fact for this barn. Past 5 years, it's limited positive data. Older horses moving from turf to synth, 20% winners, a 317 ROI. Snuck Out, a very expensive yearling. It looked like it wasn't going to pan out. It appears at the age of 4 she is reaching peak maturity, 3rd start of the form cycle, improving buyers on display, gets a different pace setup than last time where there was nothing for her to run at. The big question's the synth.
The synth is definitely a question, but you brought up the way that race most recently shook down, and I think she's going to get just a complete 180 in here where the pace is going to be hotter. The distance shouldn't be an issue for her, and the fact that she was able to rally as well as she did into a slow pace, I think that bodes well. The question now is really just genuinely, can she handle a different surface? If she can, she's definitely interesting at a big price.
A long shot that is up close on the projector is the 4 Strawberry Tequila. This is the first time in her career that she is stretching out past a mile. She was 52 to 1 in an allowance race at Keeneland last time out, only gave an even performance, listed as a vet scratch at Presque Isle on 521, and 0 for 5 lifetime combined on turf and synth. Just looks like a tough spot, but maybe she pushes the pace and sets things up from the come from behinders.
Yeah, another one that maybe you have the ability to lay a little bit closer, but for all the reasons you laid out, just very difficult to recommend based on the current form.
Trainer Cipriano Contreras has done some good work at Arlington over the years. A horse like Matru, I believe, was claimed since second off the claim, won a graded stakes at Arlington. He's going to try it with Tough Irma, the number 10, who he took for $50,000 2 starts back, ran once at Arlington. The horse was 43 to 1 in an allowance race and really didn't do much. But here she is nonetheless, stretching all the way out in a graded stake. Here's the formulator fact for Contreras. Past 5 years, older horses, dirt to synthetic, 8 for 26, 19 of 26 on the board, 286 ROI. I'm expecting some speed. I'm terrified about the distance.
Yeah, well, and I agree with you. The distance, who knows if this horse is going to be able to handle the stretch for 3/4 out to 9. But I also just look at it and say, unless this horse takes a tremendous step forward here, she's just not fast enough to win a race like this right now. I understand you have to respect anything Contreras sends out, especially second after the claim, but this one would be a stunner to me if she were able to win.
Mo's MVP, the number one, she can certainly be forwardly placed. She chased Daddy's Boo in vain last time out when dangled for the $50,000 price tag. I think this time around the barn is going to say, listen, let's let the speeds go, let's save ground, let's sit in the second flight, and let's try to conserve something for the 1 1/8.
Yeah, and also, too, keep in mind, look, I don't know that she's a major sort of threat to win a race like this, but everyone also has some ulterior motives potentially in here. You don't have to have the best horse. You don't have to be looking at it from a win standpoint. Some of these girls, if you get that graded stakes placing, you're made as a broodmare. She would be one of those that I think is a prime contender to potentially grab one of those minor awards, and really that would be basically as good as winning the race for most of the connections.
Oh So Terrible was one of the few horses running at the end of that Daddy's Boo optional claimer on May 17th. She ended up running up for third behind the two pace setters. I guess it was an okay performance. She ran in the Beverly D last year. It just seems like she's a little bit better on turf than dirt, but she's going to get a good pace set up in here. She probably needs to run a lifetime best.
I was going to say, it seems like she's actually run some decent races on grass. It just doesn't seem like it's transferred over to the synthetic, and certainly hasn't transferred over to the dirt surface. I suppose maybe getting to synth, it's going to be okay, but I would much prefer her chances on grass.
Let's take a look at our top selections for this year's Arlington Matron. You're going with the 5, Nepali Spirit. Really good barn. Nacho Correas. This horse has done good work on a synthetic surface in the past, and last time out, I don't know. I thought that was not exactly the greatest situation. Short field, pace held up. She was trying to come from out of it. I was a little disappointed she was late to change leads, but she is just rock solid. I think she's going to run her usual buyer, mid-80s, and with a slight forward move, she can pop at a price, 8-1 on the line.
Yeah, for me, this isn't a giant sort of strength play for me. It's not that I love this mare, but I do look at it and say she's rock solid, like you laid out. Her 3 most recent time form U.S. ratings are actually the 3 best of her career as a 5-year-old. I think she is at least coming into this in good form. And you brought up that she's had success on synth in the past. That, to me, is something that shouldn't go overlooked. Not only success on synth, but at Arlington Park specifically. I don't think the distance is a problem. And again, if that pace projector is accurate, that should work to her advantage.
That Churchill race looks pretty good. The horse she finished directly ahead of came back to be stakes placed against New York bred competition on the turf with an 83 buyer. Coach Whip's going to be making her synthetic debut, but she's been facing some pretty good company on the weeds for trainer Jack Sisterson. Last time out in the Bewitch, who knew Icky Macho was this good? And Coach Whip was trying to chase her early, and that was probably not the right idea. Icky Macho came right back to win the Searching at Pimlico with a 93 buyer. The runner-up that day, second in the Curtana at Churchill with an 88. Then you go back a couple more races. You got Bow Recall and Mitchell Road. I mean, she's taken on some legitimately good competition, and she has shown that she can sit from off the pace. She was entered in that Searching Stakes. I think Sisterson wanted no part of Icky Macho, so here she is at Arlington.
Yeah, I picked her third in here. I think she's got a big chance. Highest last out buyer in the field with the 85. The synthetic is a little bit of an unknown, but you do look at it from a pedigree standpoint. I don't think it should be a problem for her. She's coming into this in good form, and you brought it up. You could make the argument she is the class of the field, not necessarily based on what she has done in the past, but who she's run against in the past. She's facing much, much lesser this time around. Maybe that's all she's needed all along.
Tough race, spread race. I'm going 6, 5, 2, and 4, concentrating on the 6, 5, and 2 to a lesser extent in multiple wagers. Who are you going with?
Yeah, 5, 8, and 6. I'd probably use them all relatively similar as far as weighting is concerned. Daddy's Boo, although I picked her second, maybe I would knock her down to a B and use the 5 and 6 as A's. No
La Force in this year's Grade 3 Matron. We're going to look for some prices anyway. Approximate post time for race number 8 at Arlington on Saturday, 5:15 Central. Best of luck.